David Octavio. So we met through the Toastmasters organization, the public speaking forum, and that's how we became friends, just like that. We did an event, we met on a yacht, and I was a photographer, and I saw him, and there was something about him that I didn't understand, because sometimes when you meet people, they either have some type of energy or some type of light. There's something about them. What forged this unbelievable relationship with me and him was his story. It wasn't a love, it wasn't none of that stuff. It was just, he had this life-changing story that I've never experienced anything like that. So it kind of took me back. So then he told me something. I'm David Octavio Gandell. I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. I've been on the TEDx. I'm a case study. I'm also a TEDx speaker. So his story was very transformational on his side. But it was also that for something when you meet someone like that, it does something to you. So his story kind of pierced my soul. I don't know if you've ever met someone where their story kind of pierces your soul. So it's kind of like divine. So I kind of feel that me and David, we kind of get on this little spiritual journey together. It's kind of crazy. I've never had a life coach ever in my life. Does anyone here have a life coach? I've never been through that. I've never opened myself up to nothing like that. And for the first time in my life, I'm 42 years old. He's been my life coach now and spiritual healer now for 10 plus years. So it's just very divine. It's just very divine. And I think that we have a very spiritual and have a very divine relationship. So I just want you to know that his story today, he's not here to impress you. That was never his mission. His story, I have a feeling that you're going to feel his story. It's going to impact you in some way, shape, or form, because it did for me. And so he's an inspirational life changer, a 2-time cancer survivor. He's my friend and brother. His name is David Octavio Gandell.
Out of everyone that's ever introduced me, he gets me. I think when you spend time with someone, you understand who gets you, who understands you. And he said, I used to say he was my best friend. And he would say, I wasn't your friend. I was your fan. Just let that sink in for a second. How many people have a favorite artist? Right? You have your favorite artist. You're a fan. Yeah. Right? Sometimes you get to meet them. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get to meet your heroes. Sometimes you don't. So he was telling me I became a fan. I was serving all these people that I didn't want to serve, and then I wanted to serve you because you were actually doing something with a purpose. So at that moment, he became a fan, then he became my friend. Now he became a business partner. So we get a chance to travel, we get a chance to speak, we get a chance to do our TV shows, and my biggest thing is sharing my story. That's it. You can look at my Instagram or any social media. It's all about my story, but not just the story of cancer, but now the story of empowering women. That doesn't mean I don't empower men. It's just that for some reason, for many years, I was a fitness consultant. I was a business consultant running health clubs. So I ran 11 Ghost Gyms. I was the partner of Ghost Gym South Beach. That was my last baby because God had a different plan for me. And before that, I opened 20 studios, like trainers like Rena or somebody. They came to me and I would build them a studio. We worked out the lease agreements. We worked out the equipment, all that stuff. I did all that and I can still do it, but it's not my purpose. So I'm giving you a little bit of a lesson. Why? Because my message today, I've never talked about this in public, is redesigning your logic. So when you see this picture, what do you see? Success, okay? Well, just focus on this and just this side. Positivity. Why?
Your energy.
My energy, because I'm smiling. I wasn't smiling before the picture. I had a vision, and if you believe in vision or manifestation or prayers or dreams or whatever, I believe all our dreams are a preview to our life, to our journey. And most people will dream their life and not live it. So what ends up happening is you keep dreaming about something you have, but you don't activate it. Sometimes you don't have the environment to activate it, and that's okay. It's not your fault. But sometimes you have to make a decision to get out of that environment. If it's toxic, or if it's just a naysayer, or if it's just lazy. You're around people that are not smarter than you, and you're the best one in the room. Well, guess what? Then you're not learning anything. What defines logic? There's 2 things that define logic. What are they? There's no wrong answer, but I'm looking for 2 specific answers And this is what my case study was about when it came to women empowerment. There's two things about logic that make up logic. Everyone here is logical, right?
Facts.
Facts? Okay, where does the fact come from?
Yeah, that feeling.
It's not a feeling, but there's no wrong answer. The facts come from what?
Data.
Data. What do we call that?
Information.
Information. What is the word that we call all that? All of that. There's one word.
Information.
Experience.
Experience is one. So that's good. You got one. Experience makes up logic, right? You become logical after you do something. It's logical now. You did it. What's the other one? Information, data. When we go to school, what are we getting?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. See, you got it comes around. So you have knowledge and you have experience. In your high school year, let's say you're in your sophomore year, right? You haven't studied calculus yet. You're in college, you're in algebra or something like that, right? And if I say to you, and I said, can you give me, let's do a calculus thing. You're going to look at me like I'm crazy. That's not logical. I haven't studied it yet. Okay? Who has jumped off a plane? You have. You have too? Did you tell me? Okay. All right. So who hasn't jumped off a plane? Everybody else. Okay. Why haven't you jumped off a plane?
Why jump out
Of a perfectly good plane. Thank you. Why get out of the door? Right? Exactly. What is stopping you from jumping off a plane?
I haven't gotten around to it.
Common sense.
Well, we can go with the basic stuff.
Fear.
Fear. And why are we afraid of it?
Unknown. Yeah.
The unknown. We don't have the knowledge. The knowledge that we have, if you Google right now, jumping off a plane, is you're going to see more bad things happen to people than good jumps. You're going to see more bad jumps than good jumps, right? That's the bottom line. You're going to go whoops, splat, or you're going to break your leg, or you're going to break your shoulder, or something. I know, whatever the worst thing that can happen to you, right? So you have no knowledge of this being safe, and you haven't experienced it because you haven't got on a plane and jumped out of it. So I'm going through my life story, and I get the worst decision, the worst news in my life. I'm sitting in front of a doctor telling me I have cancer, but not cancer. I have terminal cancer. Not terminal cancer. I have a cancer that has no cure. I'm 29 years old. Who here is 30 years old or over? Over 30. Okay. Who's younger than 30? Okay, there we go. I love sense of humor. That's good. You look great, man, for your age. That's awesome. So what's interesting about it is that at that age, I get this diagnosis. They remove the tumor. They do the exams and they say, Mr. Gandell, there is nothing left. So we're going to go ahead and just keep you on checkups. But see, there's a difference about life, that whatever you're doing in life is not enough. And whatever you're doing is not where you're going to end. What I mean by that is that you have two choices. You can continue to do what you're doing over and over and over. And I'm not even talking about insanity. I'm just talking about keep living your life. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have a good life. I know when people text me or DM me as you're talking like if I don't live my purpose, I'm going to have a crappy life. I never said that. Your mind is telling you that. I don't even know you. I don't even know what you do. You're just texting me because you heard my message, and I appreciate that you send me a message, but you have no knowledge of who I am, and you have no knowledge why I speak the way I do, and you have no knowledge or experience with me. So you're telling me what your logic is telling you. Logic is based on everything in life. So whatever you know now, you know, and you're good at it. You studied it, you experienced it. But how come is it that we're not in fifth grade anymore? We're not in high school anymore. We're not in college anymore. We're not even in our first job career. What happened? Because logically, we shouldn't even have gotten this far. Right? When you were in high school, what were you thinking about?
Getting out.
Getting out. Okay.
Yeah.
But the logic was what? We graduate and we go get a job, right? That's most people, right? I graduate, I either go to college or I go get a job. You got two options, right? At least was my options. But logically to me is like, if whatever I'm going to do, I know that I'm going to expand my logic. So 29 years old, get diagnosed, terminal cancer, 2 years. So I believe we all have a purpose. I believe that some are chosen, some are called, few are chosen, and even fewer will live their purpose. There's only one Oprah Winfrey. There's only one Denzel. There's only one, I don't know, just give me a celebrity, whatever it is. There's only one of them that is look at Dwayne Johnson. Whoever thought that he was going to become a household name? Not him. He never thought he was going to be a household name. So, but logically, we look at his career, there's nothing. He is not a football player. He is not an actor. He's a global entity to the point that companies, billion-dollar companies, are now saying, hey, you're a partner because anything you touch turns to gold. That means you're living your purpose. Why? Why am I saying that word purpose in this case and talking about logic? He expanded his own logic throughout his life. He took a chance. So how do we expand logic? Think about it. Knowledge and experience. What do we have to do for our logic of a high school kid or a college kid or anything like that to be expanded to say, I'm going to be a CEO. I'm going to be a TEDx speaker. I'm going to survive cancer. Sure, you can manifest it.
Expand your vessel.
How do you expand your vessel?
Work.
Effort, which means what?
From there.
More experience.
We'll work from experience.
Correct. But then you have to get more knowledge. If you stop studying in college, I am so sorry for you. Seriously. And I know people want to talk about AI or whatever. You better study it. I don't care if you do it or not, but you better study it so you can understand where the world is going. Because if you don't understand it and you don't gather the knowledge, you're never going to expand your own logic. You're going to stay stuck. Right? Who makes phone calls anymore? Selling. Right? Who makes phone calls? Nobody. Now is a funnel, emails, texting, right? Who gets the phone call? Nobody.
I get a phone call.
Yeah, but usually it's collections. I'm kidding. It's a joke. I have to bring humor.
That's good.
There's a little bit of levity. Okay. That's collection. No, but I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But at the end of the day, here's the bottom line. So what do you have to do to expand your logic? New experiences. So if I say jump off a plane tomorrow and someone's paying for it, take a shot. We're all going to die anyway. I mean, I'll tell you this. I thought I was invincible before the age of 29. Now I'm invincible. And what I mean by that is that if I pass, I'm good. My story's already been told tenfold. And thousands of women that I've trained in the gym and hundreds of women that I've coached in life coaching and all these fitness shows and fashion shows. As soon as Octavio Gandell is on Instagram, he died or something happened to him, what's going to happen? Everybody's going to share. They're going to share this interview. They're going to share my TED Talks. They're going to share photos with me. I was lucky enough to, after surviving the second battle, to have women come to me and tell me how I changed their life as a trainer, as a friend. I felt like I went to my funeral. Most of us will never have that experience. So to me, like this moment right here, I'm grateful for. Because I might not be your coach. I might not be your mentor. I might not even be your friend. I might just be someone just jumping by. But if you can connect with part of my story and you start changing your life a little bit, I did my job. At least I was here for a purpose today, more than just hosting or more than whatever. So one is experience. What's the other part? We get more what?
Knowledge.
Knowledge. So we educate ourselves in other things. until you find your God-given purpose. What does that mean to you? Anybody want to take a shot? When I want to do something that I want to work at something that doesn't feel like working, right? You do it just because, you know? Gary's been around with me for a long time, and yeah, he says I'm a life coach, and he says all this stuff, and he's got a phenomenal story himself. But what's interesting about that relationship is that because of someone like him, I was able to expand even more experiences, because you have that Batman and Robin thing going on, where he can call me and I can be Robin one day, and then he can be Robin. And that to me is precious, because we all need support. When someone says, I did it by myself, no way. Let's go through your story. And as soon as I go through your story, somebody opened up a door, somebody opened up a window, someone pushed you into something, or somebody hurt you to the point that they pushed you into another lane. So even that person gets thankful when they win the Oscars, and they say, I want to thank the... So redesigning your logic is looking at what is important to you, what you're passionate about. Go back to your childhood and look at your gifts and your talents. All that is attached to what you're supposed to do. I dreamt I was going to inspire millions. I had a vision of inspiring millions. I was 12 years old. I told my mom in Puerto Rico, you know what she said? Sure. Sure, you're going to inspire millions, whatever. Here's what happened when it came to logic. Because I believed that I was going to inspire millions, every single thing that I did from that day on, I make a joke. I put my whole ass into it. Like, I don't do anything half-ass. So it's like everything that I did. So if I started playing basketball, I was the last person to leave. If I started playing baseball, I was the person that was there at the beginning, picking up the balls and letting everybody know, hey, I'm here to help you too. Like, I'm not the only one here. When I ran track, I ran cross country, not just, the sprinters. I ran with the cross country because the cross country team was the smallest team. You know that, right? There was only like 6 or 7 of them running around for 3 miles a day. So I ran with them. And I experienced thing that if I can run with these people, I can run faster in the shorter race, because I can outlast the people that are thinking that in the second lap I'm going to come around. No, I'm going to sprint the first half. You're going to have to try to catch me. I didn't know that at the time. I was just doing it because I was just thinking, hey, this is cool. I'm making new friends. So everything happened that way. I started modeling. Maybe this is how I'm going to inspire millions. I started acting. This is how I'm going to inspire millions. I was in debate. I wanted to win in debate. I was good at debate. Not maybe on the facts, but maybe the emotional part. I had somebody else do the facts, and then I took the emotional part of it. But I didn't know this was going to be my life. I remember the first time I spoke at a church. My parents knew it. My friend knew it. I didn't know that. I never saw myself doing that. That was not something. I do women's conferences. I'm a man. I'm sorry. Am I not supposed to do that? Not really. When someone calls you up and tells you you're going to be speaking at a sexual abuse, domestic violence conference, and you're a man in front of 500 women, how do you feel? Men in this room don't know how that feels. But most women in this room have been to something like it, women empowerment, something. You don't really see a man up there. My logic was completely redefined because of that. So this is a second battle. They gave me 3 days to live. They put me on morphine to die. And then I get a call from one doctor in Miami, says, hey, bring him to Jackson Memorial. We're going to try something. I meet him at 2:00 in the morning. He says to me, I'm not here to give you hope, so don't look at me for hope. We have something we want to try on you. What does that mean? Guinea pig. Come on. I love it. Guinea pig. I was a little monkey. They were going to try this cocktail on of 4 chemotherapies, 5 straight days, 14 chemos. 1 round, I lost 57 pounds. I walked out of the hospital 124 pounds after 1 round. I took that picture because I saw a vision of me on stage with short hair. I hadn't had short hair until that day because I shaved it for the first time since I was 16 years old. Again, think about my message. Logic. Nothing here is logical. Your life, if I walk through your life, if I get a chance to ever work with you, we're going to go through your life story. Everything about it is illogical. Because either your knowledge or your experience had to change in order for you to believe that your company could do the numbers they're doing, that you could be an impact in someone's life, that story would lead me to empower women and to be a TEDx speaker and to have a TV show and to all that stuff. All that stuff came out of why? Why? Because after you go through that, what's going to stop me? What's stopping you? Your logic. Right now, your logic is stopping you from moving forward because you're thinking this is as much as I know. And this is what I've experienced. And I'm scared to experience something else, or I'm too lazy or too tired, or I don't have the time to learn something new. Who here is a manager or a trainer or has a leadership role? Right? So if you have a leadership role, what is your job actually entitled? You're a leader. So what do you do to your staff? You lead them, but how you lead them? Example. Inspiration too. What else? Motivate. Service. But what's the main ingredient?
Teach.
I would give you a high five, but you're too far. Just poof. Okay. I got one. I got two. You teach. What I'm doing today, or what I'm doing throughout my life, or whatever days I have to left, is to teach what I went through, and not about me. Is to teach about you. Look at your life, your own life, and look at how your logic has been redefined throughout your life. There's something that you overcame that will be the power behind you wanting to learn something new or experience something new. If you don't, you stay in the same place. Who's in fitness here? Who does workouts? You? Yeah. Not a trainer. You work out, right? What happens as soon as you're done with a trainer? Let's say they train you for 12 weeks and they train you their way. What happens after 12 weeks?
You go back to you.
No, not really. You do the same, but here's the thing: you stay in the same lane. That's why I always tell people is you gotta have other people train you. I'm not like I'm not that jealous. It's like if somebody was like, David, I learned everything from you. I want to try something new. Go for it. Our time may be over. They come back though. But what's funny is you learn something new. Experience, knowledge. The day that I figure that out, go. And then they come back. Or people from other trainers say, you know what? I want to try David for a minute. And that was redefining logic. So what do you think right now is really the main attribute for you not to gather more knowledge or try new experience? Anybody want to share? Ego. Ego is one of them. Why is the ego so important?
I didn't.
Okay, you can identify through who you are, right? But then you haven't gotten any new experience.
Fear.
What are we afraid of? If you don't mind sharing.
Yourself. Because.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. It's even like when we're guiding people or teaching them, we're bringing them closer to themselves. So they, like I believe that we have all the answers inside.
You do.
So a really good guide will bring you closer to yourself, which that's what you do, I'm sure. So that's where the answers come.
But so are you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This is what I'm trying to share. I'm at a different level because this has been decades now. After that.
Yeah.
I'm on my second decade after that. My doctor still can't understand how I'm still alive, how I work out 6 days a week, how I continue to do what I do. They don't have a clue because I'm a case study.
Miracle.
But they are excited to see me because they're like, we want to do more tests. Why do they want to do more tests? They can have more knowledge. And I don't mind, because if it can help somebody else that doesn't have my faith, that doesn't have my hope, you got to have all of it. If faith is one thing, but most people don't do what they're meant to do, they lose hope, or they die of some disease because they lost hope, not faith. So, if you define it biblically or non-biblically, faith is something you don't see. So it's things hoped for, it's things that you dream of. But at the end of the day, that dream is meant to be a reality, and no one is stopping you but you. No one. You are the only one. And what's stopping you? Logic. What's stopping you is your own. This is why we have to redefine it. You have to redefine that logic. So get more knowledge, get more experience, so the tests are helping somebody else. That's great. So in your case, you got to figure out, what are you an expert on? Sure. And you can teach that. What are you an expert on? But then what's the other part of it? What are you passionate about? And then go for it. We watch Rocky and we watch all these movies and we see all these stars do all these things and we get excited and motivated by them. It's a story, but here's the funny thing about movies. They're based on usually someone's life or someone's train of thought. So if someone is strong enough to visualize it or to think about it or to dream about it, it's probably possible. Who remembers Back to the Future, the movie? Oh, yeah. We're literally doing more than that movie. So guess what? Someone had the mindset or thought process to start dreaming all these things and putting it into a movie thinking, hey, it's never going to happen. There's no hoverboard. You can take the cars are now hovering. This is unbelievable. AI is literally like the movie with Will Smith. And then he's running away from I have a friend of mine, another Gary, who sells robots. Literally, we're going to be doing an event together soon. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. I don't know what's going to happen. If it has a bad day, the robot had a bad day, and something happens. So, is fear, ego? What else is stopping you? Uncertainty. Okay. What else?
Comfort zone. Being in your comfort zone.
Comfort zone. Okay. These are
belief in yourself.
Belief in yourself. So these are all individual. But what world are we living in right now? Well, I live in my reality, but I also live in dreamland. So, social media, right? So other people.
Yeah, opinions.
Other people's opinions. That's what you're getting. That's your experience. That's your knowledge. And that can stop you from fulfilling your destiny and from living your purpose. If you can redefine your logic, just think about what else you want to study, what else you want to learn, what else you want to experience in life, and just do it, because life is short. And I will tell you this last thing: find hope, have faith, live with purpose. And I believe that you're meant to be a miracle in someone's life through your own story. So figure that out, because it's not about you. Everything that you, ladies and gentlemen, do is to help somebody else as well. And when you put it out there to serve, you'll find your purpose through it. God bless you, and thank you for your time.